is that we are being made in the likeness of Yeshua, where we are becoming the Word made flesh. But revelations have to come. You can call them maybe epiphanies. That's another word they use. Is the epiphanies come, and when epiphanies come, you are changed. So the epiphany in that word, it goes from a hey to a hey aleph. It is now established within you. Well, let's just start at the beginning of this here. So we have this first word here, which is aleph lamed aleph, and if we are to pull it up and analyze it, some of these nothing, what appears to be nothing, are so deeply profound, because this word right by itself means but rather. Really? Is that what it's saying to us? No, it's saying a lot more. So when you can see the two alephs, one aleph and an instruction, a lamed teaching connected to the next aleph. So, but these teachings of oneness, with one being mother and one being father, they're going to be a unified teaching to you. And lamed, one of the things that I think is profound too, is lamed is closely associated to the heart, because that's where we're instructing, and heart is spelled lamed bet. So every time you see a lamed, that the lamed means to teach or to the instruct. But that is exactly the first letter of heart. So what is it doing? It's instructing your inside, because that's bet in paleo means inside the tent, and leb is your heart. So every time you see a lamed, it is very good for you to just automatically think heart, because it's the first letter. It's instruction. And if we're learning everything, we're not learning it up here. Because if we learn it up here, we're missing the whole point. I mean, if you're trying to use the brain to figure something out, you might as well just walk away, because this whole language is about your heart learning the instruction, not your head. So in this case, it's but the twin teachings of mother and father, which is all about oneness, being unified, instructing, teaching, taming, yoking, is all about the instruction of your heart. And again, the lamed's on the inside of this word, so that makes sense. It's the instruction on the inside between the two alephs, mother and father, both of spirit, being represented by those who are teaching it, that should be made one with those spirit teachings. And then we have hava, the who. So this word is be, was, and turn. This actually connects to, believe it or not, the Hebrew word haya, to be, become, to come to pass, which is the root for yod he vav he. Now this one, in its root, is he vav aleph. Now, I know this because I've been messing around with the Aramaic, so I know what those letters are. So he vav aleph. So, but this is connected to be, which is part of haya. Haya is to be, become, come to pass, the root of I am that I am, haya. But it also means to turn. It's interesting, though, because if we do not take in consideration the Hebrew, we're missing what this is saying. So it's like Aramaic is an extra layer on top of the Hebrew. It's like a transparency. It's a transparency of a vibration frequency that then overlays on top of the Hebrew to take it to another layer, another level of moving it, because of what Yeshua did in opening the door for us in some of those changes of the language, where you see like the dalet moving to the front and the aleph in the back. It's an overlay to what was already established as a foundation of Hebrew.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah. So we have to take in consideration where that root is coming from, that it generated originally from Hebrew. So this word is also the same word meaning to breathe and to desire. So this is the word that is connected to be, to become, but it's manifested in this form as hava, which means to breathe. To be as a breathing one is the best way to say it. And we have the tav on the front side. And the revelation that is going forth since we have turned over into the age of Aquarius is that whenever we see the tav added on the prefix or the tav on the suffix, you are marked with that sine wave signature frequency of the love that is being taught to you. Because the measured and the standardment of everything is about love, right? In Christianity, we say God is love, right? God is love. So everything is a measurement and a standard to get us to that point. Well, Mother teaches us how to love externally. Like when you're being raised and you have a sibling, don't hit your brother, don't hit your sister, make sure you share, setting those external boundaries up to make the environment safe to be able to teach what love does. The external golden rule, be able to treat people as you want to be treated. I'm not going to hit my brother because then that means he can hit me. That's not cool. So so the mark on the front side of the word is Mother's mark to say, you have learned how to treat people in the path of the golden rule. So that frequency is there. So you've learned to navigate life within boundaries, to respect people, respect their property, respect. I guess you can take a look at it. If we're going to use something that we can use as a standard, think of 10 commandments. That you're not going to do those things because you're trying to figure out how to demonstrate and make it a safe place for people to experience love externally. But when it moves on the suffix side, this is where we move into love without conditions. So the front side is love with conditions. I'm not going to hit you. I'm not going to beat you. I'm not going to steal your stuff. Then when we move to the suffix side, Father is teaching us how to live and love in unconditional love. Now, that doesn't mean that if somebody is in the teaching process of learning, Mother, doesn't mean that you don't keep boundaries up.
Yeah, right.
Because once one attains unconditional love, then there's no need for boundaries. Because they realize the oneness. So anything that I do to somebody else, I'm doing to me. And anything I do to me, I'm doing to someone else. So it's a higher measure and standard of what love is. But we first have to at least figure out the golden rule.
Yeah.
So if that makes sense. So in this sense right here, we have a breathing one who breathes, that has come to pass, is being in the golden rule, has the mark of the Mother's covenant. So already we can say, okay, so the teachings of Mother and Father, the way it's starting out, Aleph Lamed Hey, is that they are in agreement that they are going to instruct your heart as a breathing one, that the first thing that you have to figure out is the golden rule. You need to be marked with that sine wave frequency so that people know that they're safe around you. Then the next thing that we're going to take you into, where they've used the word discourse, language, and communication. This is why this is so profound, to see the different translations, to see what the translators were wrestling with. It's like, what word are we going to use here? So one says your discourse. So your discourse, how are you communicating with people? And then like language. Well, what language are you using while you're discoursing with people? What is your communication like? So in regards to Meltha, well, it's not Miltha here, that's the root, is Malath. This is also a root that means to be filled up. To fill yourself up with the word. Miltha, to fill yourself up and be overflowing with the word. Again, like we said, we are in the process of becoming the word made flesh, just like Yeshua. So we're being filled up with what? We're being filled up with the teachings, the living water teachings of Mother and Father that instruct our heart and give us a signature frequency of that of unconditional love. So that's what this is talking about And this word on the end, I'm going to read to you. This is why I love this. So from this point on, whenever we see something in the New Testament, because this is really where you're going to see this prefix or this suffix is in the Peshitta, in the New Testament, the movement of what Yeshua made access to. This means to be set up, be established, and be firm. And it comes to he existed and he became. So this connects us back to what we were saying before with the word Hayah. But this one is established. You have become. You have been set up. You are firm. So if we take that in consideration in this word, it's literally saying that when you go through the word and you get filled up with it, you're marked with a different frequency of unconditional love, and you have been established and have been made firm in it as one who has become. So you've got the process of becoming here as a breathing one, because breathing is connected with spirit. If you don't have spirit, you can't enter into this process. And right here, this is one who has become, that is established. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Wow.
And then we have our phrase, our yes and yes, and our no and no. But I find this so funny because the Hebrew word for ayin, sorry, I just want to highlight this. The Hebrew word for here means to be nothing. It literally means to be nothing. Now, if we talk about Kabbalah, just some people freak out with that, but if we talk about Kabbalah, and if you look at the picture, if I can find the Adam Kadmon picture, I just find this so funny. And sometimes there's such a sense of humor on here that when I read scripture, I'm like, oh, that's funny. That's the writer of writing these things, putting humor in. I love it. Okay, Adam Kadmon images. Let's see if I can find the one that I've used in our teachings before. I may not. I need to put Kabbalah because there's actually a artist out there that's name is Adam Kadmon. I think he's a musician. Kabbalah. And I need to pull it up if I can enlarge it so you can see what it says. And this may not be the best. That's not going to do. Give me just a second where I find it, because I know I will find one that'll work just well. There's some great things, great images here. Where's my Adam Kadmon? Not there. Sometimes they give suggestions. Tree of Life. Okay, we'll go over here. Let's see if this will come up with it. Okay, hopefully this will be able, yeah, you should be able to see this. I may have to click, there we go. All right. New share. Oh, you probably were watching it, weren't you? Okay, so it was allowing you to follow. Interesting. Sometimes I don't know how all this works. Do you notice right here at the top where it says Keter and crown? Ein Sof Or, Ein Sof, Ein. This means the first word, Ein Sof Or, means the light that never ends. And then the Ein Sof is nothing ends, or the end of nothing. And then Ein is nothing. So when you hear Ken talk about becoming nothing, this is the progression of where we are actually going back to source. So the first place that we obtain is the Ein Sof Or, the place of never-ending light. And then we go to the end of nothing, and then we actually become nothing. This is like the fullness of going all the way back into source, where we are completely unified and we're no longer there is no self at this point. Self is gone. You have now fully merged with the consciousness of Creator, and all of who you are has been brought into that single entity of oneness with the Creator. So, wow. So, in looking at this, oh, I just closed it out. No, I didn't.
It seems premature to say that you've gotten to that place of nothing.
No, this is
all that before that is leading you to that place of nothing?
It's telling you that this is the progression of what our learning is going through the Word and becoming the Word made flesh. You know, there's parts of it where you first have to be able to understand the love with conditions, the golden rule. Then you have to learn the unconditional love, and then you're going to get to the double measure of the Ein. Now, this, let me pull it up and show what it says here. It's just so funny sometimes how it goes from one to the next, from Hebrew to Aramaic, because in Aramaic it says that this is the word truly, truly. Yes, so, and truly. So you could say truly, truly, we are to become nothing. And it's stressing the double importance. So I automatically, when I see something like this, I'm like, okay, we're talking about the beast ego. Truly, truly become nothing. You're eliminating the beast ego nature, which says I'm separate. I am somebody. It's like, well, yes, you are, but we need to move past that. There's a double stressed importance here of what the progression is. And this is so strange too. It's the exact same word. Sometimes they'll have a word and then they'll have a vav connected, and it'll be the same word with a vav. But it's a double ein, ein. Ein, ein. So truly, truly be nothing. You're diminishing self to become one. I love that. I find that so fascinating. Now the word lo, as we have seen in Hebrew before, no and not. Let's go back to.
So this is the nay part?
Nay. Yeah, I got to go back to the screen. Just make sure that screen is up. I don't have anything else on there, so it'll be less confusing. All right, we have and see here we have the vav. So this would be way la, way la. And this is connecting to mother. So in humility, Lamed Aleph, we are learning to be taught to be one. So, and then it stresses it again. We are learning to become one. So this phrase right here is stressing double importance about us becoming nothing. Surely, surely, you are to become nothing, nothing. And through humility, you must be taught about becoming one. You must be taught about becoming one. And whenever there's a double, even though it's a double stressing importance, whenever there's anything doubled, you know that it's automatically connected to mother and father. So mother is going to teach her portion about you becoming nothing. Father's going to teach his teaching that's going to be teaching you nothing. And they're going to be instructing you through the law of oneness, one love, one unity, and they have to teach you it. And so this whole phrase is it's important. You need to you need to know this. If you want to be a firm standing one and you want to be established, then this is the process that you have to go through.
Wow. Well, that kind of lays it all out right there, huh?
It does. It does. This whole verse does. So I was like, wow, okay, this is really cool. And then this word right here, medam, dalet mem is blood. So we have mother and father because of the constituent letters mem and mem sofit, that are the door to the inner man, to the process of being completed into the waters above. So you have the waters below, because whenever we got the open mem, we've got still the possibility of being in chaos. entering back into the mother's womb to be born again, and now you've been completed as being born through the blood. And every time we see blood, we know that this is connected to the covenants of promise. The blood covenant is the covenants of promise. So in other words, if you go through this, everything that we explained on the beginning half of this verse, this applies to you as being part of the blood covenant, the covenant of promise. It's going to come to pass. This word, see, sometimes I go in, just to tell you how my brain works. When I'm looking at scriptures, many times I will not even look up the word. I will look and see what the letters are telling me.
Yeah.
Because they're telling me everything. And then I like to see what words I see first before I pull up what it's telling me that it is. Because again, that's interpretation from somebody else. I want the letters to tell me what's going on. So we have the door, the dalet, to the inward man. That's going to instruct me so that I get the tav. I get pierced through love, which then helps me deliver myself from self. And how do I do that? Well, mem noon is actually how you spell manna. They put manna, so like in the Old Testament, they wrote it as manna, and so you would think that would be a double noon aleph, but that really is the word for manna, is just mem noon. So again, you have dom, you have the blood.
Yeah.
You have blood. So this is talking about a living being that is in flesh, because the noon, activity of life, this is one that's in their flesh suit that needs to partake of the manna, the daily manna, which is the teachings of mother and father while we are in the fallen flesh state. And we have that same word here, man, here. This also means to be a part of, to be of, and if you root it out in Hebrew, it talks about like a string instrument, a chord being played. So it's interesting that that's connected to manna. And that we're talking about a string instrument as music that's being played as part of a chord progression. I just see the grand symphony of time and who we all are, and the part that we have to play. Our specific frequency is that we're being a part of it. And it's, through what mother and father are teaching us, through their spirit teachings while we're in the flesh, which allows us to be a part of this grand orchestra of life that we live in, this beautiful creation that we are creating through our own signature frequencies, the symphony of life. That's how I see it. I try to keep everything really beautiful when I'm looking at it. So it makes my heart sing. Literally makes my heart sing, being part of the chord.
Yeah.
And then let's see, this word, we're going to pop in and we're going to take a look at that. Let's see, because this one I don't know what this is. That would be here. It's a hey noon. All right, so this word is supposed to have a hey noon aleph on it. It's supposed to have an aleph, but instead it has a yod noon on the end of it. So we're talking about the power, and all the power it's the power of love. It's the power of the oneness unity. It's the power, means, and direction to go through the door of your inner man to be able to find that place. And this is on the father's side, so we're talking about the power of finding unconditional love while we are still in the fallen flesh suit, because we haven't become one yet. That all of this is about our process of becoming, and what does that look like? You got to go through the door. You got to have your manna. We're going somewhere with this verse. So now let's actually take a peek and see what it's being said. Get my screen in the correct spot for you. All right, so this word literally means this and these.
Mm.
And I believe that is a, let me move this down a little bit here. Okay, so the original word, so let me explain this. The basic root is hey noon. The way it came to morph was supposed to be a hey noon aleph. That was the first movement, but the aleph was removed from that.
Mm.
So the original root was hey noon. And so what do we have here? In the middle of it, we have lamed yod. So this is a teacher that is going to teach you the power of love in your innermost being.
Mm.
I'm sitting here processing that as we're looking at it. So teaching your heart how to love, the power that comes from love, and then how to, the means and direction how to. And that's what all of this was about. How to instruct your heart.
So the sperm thing looks like that's a noon.
Yes, this is a fallen noon.
Yeah.
And so in the paleo, it would be like a sperm or a
Right.
or a seed that is sprouted.
Life seed. Mm-hmm.
Yep, life seed. And now let's move on to this word because yitter, I'm not familiar with that one either. Go back to my new screen share so you can follow. There we go. This one says it's more, excessive, greater, better, and excelling. And the root of this would be a yod, tav, resh. Can you see back to our scripture here? Can you see me highlight the word? Are you seeing that?
No,
Okay.
I don't see where you're on the grammatical.
Double checking. I just have to keep flipping. So the root is yod, tav, resh.
Okay, right.
And none of them used those words. None of them used excellent. None of them used better. They used the word beyond,
Mm-hmm.
right? That would be the closest. But the rest of them didn't use this at all.
Mm.
That's when I start getting really angry.
Yeah.
I'm like, what are they doing? Because this is really saying it's a more excellent
they don't
way.
know what they're doing. They're probably guessing at a lot of it, you think?
Yeah, well, honestly, my honest feeling on this is that this was intended to be written in a way that would keep us from the more excellent way, because that's what this word is telling us. There is a more excellent way. By all of this preceding information, this is the better way. So they can change it and translate it into something that would keep us from finding the excellent way, into keeping us bound in something where you have religious leaders that are over you telling you what is and what isn't. And in some instances, in religious institutions, they will say, you can't read the word. You have to listen to what I say the interpretation is, because you're really banned from it. You're not holy enough. You are not sanctified enough to even be able to study the word. Well, then, if you're not allowed to study it, then you can't go in and dig it out and realize that this word is saying that there's a more excellent way. And what is the excellent way? Well, the movement of this is the yod was placed within. So this is placed within your innermost being, the place of your heart, which is the power of love. It's a vision that is given to you, that is placed within there, so that you can become and find the excellent way. Which tav, mark and sign of the covenant, which is all about love, to the resh, and we know that resh means poor and destitute. It also means one who rises to the top as a first fruit. This is the more excellent way to be the first fruits, the ones that are going to receive the double portion. And when you look at it, you have a vav, come on, highlighter, be my friend. Okay, I'll just say, so you have a yod, I kept saying vav. You have a yod, and then you have a tav, and then you have a yod. So you have the power, means, and direction of mother, and the power, means, and direction of father that are the sign and mark of the covenant of love, which is the better way. And it'll raise you up to be a first fruit so that you can be a part of the stringed instrument, the music that plays through your daily manna and what you're consuming through the teachings while you're in your lower flesh estate. This is an
Marvelous.
This is an amazing verse.
It
I
is.
love this. And
I
then
have to record that one. That's good.
Yeah,
You
this is
recorded?
good stuff.
Yeah.
I am recording. I felt it was like, ooh, we need to dig this verse up. And I was going to share other stuff with you, but I'll record those on my own and just go through it and I'll put them out there. But this one, I just felt like the Spirit say, you know, you've never looked this one up and you probably should look at it. And now I know why. It's like, yeah, because we're learning the better way. It's telling us what the better way is. And then, okay, so let's take a look at the last two words and then we'll just land the plane on this.
Okay.
So we talked about the manna, and it's from, and then we've got evil, wrong, he, it is. Evil, wrong, he, it is. So let's take a look here. I don't need to pull that up quite yet, so let me get out of that, take a look at that. So this is the word they say is evil. Now, I'm going to show you kind of what I do to help figure some of this stuff out. I didn't want to dig out all of my Janet Magura books because in order to look up verses, I have to have like 3 books in front of me. So I do it another way. And so what I'll do is I'm going to go into the analyze. I'm going to click that on and I'll do a screen share so that you can see what I'm doing. I just have to go and do a new share. I'm going to scroll down to the word. I'm going to click on this portion right here and it's going to pull up another screen. So I'm going to have to do a new share because you won't see that one. We're going to come to this and I'll have to screen share this as well. So like too many, it's not fast. All right, come on. Need to move you over so I can do a full page. This is Marcus Jastro's A Dictionary of the Targum, the Targumim, the Talmud, Babli, and the Yerushalmi, and the Midrashic literature. So this is different than the Strong's Concordance. The dictionary of everything that has been compiled out of the Targums, the Talmud, and all the Midrashic literature. So I like going in here sometimes. It does not give a Strong's number, but then sometimes it'll help me so that I don't have to go pick up another book. I can just get an idea of what's being said. So I go look and I see the closest one that we see, and I can't highlight anything, so hopefully you can see my little cursor.
Yeah.
It says bad or wrong, ill or sick. So we are talking about, and then it'll show you down here a little bit further, bad, evil, wickedness, and illness. So that you get an idea of what is being said in this word for bad and wrong. But it also means ill and sick. So let's go back. I'm going to get out of this. And we're going to, I got to do screen share again. I popped out of there. I didn't mean to. Keep doing it. Okay, that'll work. That should be able to do a screen share and pop you back. There we go. So if we've got bad or wrong or ill or sick, and we also know that this has to do with manna, but it also has to do with from, the word from. It is from bad or wrong and ill and sick. So they chose to put the word evil, but this is telling us that this will keep you from illness and sickness.
Yeah. Wow.
So when you look at that, again, this is the first time I'm looking at this verse, and I'm with a smile on my face. On the inside, I'm like, what are they doing? Keeping us from what this is telling us, that this whole process of becoming will help us to safeguard ourselves against being sick and ill. Now, keep you from spiritually being sick and ill, emotionally being sick and ill, and also physically being sick and ill, because this whole process is about how to lift your vibrational frequency. If you are entering into love, if you've elevated your frequency, the first thing that people do is they change their food. And when people change their food to higher vibrational frequencies, typically they have better health, right? Not eating the processed food anymore, not doing all the junk that man has put his hands on for corporate profit, but going back to the way food was intended as a higher frequency to bring us health and bring us life. Well, here you go. And then let's look at how this word is even formed, right? It has a bet. This is our temple. This is specifically talking about our temple and our inside. That is going to give us the power, means, and direction as we go in through the door. That is the refining fire of that which we consume, because the sheen is also two teeth. So the two front teeth are the two twin teachings that we chew upon, our spiritual food, that is a consuming fire, so that we can learn the process of becoming one. That this is what's going to help you so that you are free from illness, sickness, disease. Because when we make wrong choices, because right, that's when we make bad choices or wrong choices, we can get ill and we can get sick. Well, this is going to keep you from making those wrong choices, because you're going to know this food or what I'm doing, I'm not going to do these bad drugs because it's going to make me sick, right? I'm not going to eat McDonald's every single day of my life because it's going to make me sick. This is telling us that these teachings will help you so that you don't do that, and then you learn how to become one. And one is love, is becoming one with source and being unified with each other by raising our frequency. And it ends out with who? Hey, Vav, the revelation of connecting through meekness and humility. And I'm not even going to go into the vowel point because that's a whole nother teaching with the truth.
Wow, that was good.
It's a completely different way of seeing this verse.
Yeah, really. Completely different.
Now, if we were to look at it in Mother's teaching, we could see the yes, yes, and the no, and no. Meaning, Mother's teaching is going to teach you how to orient yourself so that people can count on you. So if you say yes, then you better follow through. If you say no, then say no. But that's Mother's orientation. That's not Father's. So when you get down into the Father's looking in this word, then you can see the deeper meaning that has been hidden from us of what this is saying in our progression of becoming. This is a huge verse.
Yeah.
Be free of illness and disease in the time of what we're living in.
Yeah.
With the plague. The other thing is that for those of us who have a higher vibrational frequency, we can see past and beyond those things so that they don't touch us. It's like, that's not my narrative. That is not my narrative.
Yes. Wow.
I like the spontaneous stuff. This is awesome.
It is. I love it.
It's my daily manna too that I got to dig out with my friend Regina.
I know. I love it.
A completely fresh new verse.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you for letting me do that. This is a good way. I like the spontaneous side.
I gleaned too.
Oh. Well,
nice.
Father, thank you. Thank you for this amazing revelation. Thank you for giving us the eyes to be able to see and to dig this out and see how it affects us, and affects us in the now, affects us in our tomorrow and our future if we apply this to our heart, and that we get to share this with each other. We get to dine from the banqueting table together.
Yes.
In our beautiful portion for today. So thank you for that. Thank you for my friend and who she is and how amazing she is in my life, and that we're getting to journey this together. What a blessing.
Yes, ditto.
Amen.
Amen.